So I'm playing a Golgari Saga midrange deck, and I'm oftentimes oftentimes tease the Golgari Saga players. It's a really fun archetype that I think is generally pretty underpowered, and mostly like what's there is a lot to like about Golgari Saga. I do think that the ability to play the cheap interactive spells and find some powerful tutor targets off Urza Saga for a slower grindy game plan, it is pretty fun. But I think the biggest issue with this archetype has always been the top end. I think it's like there was a long time that people were playing like just like Cauldron Grist as their top end, and it was I just always felt like it was kind of embarrassing. Just not a very strong top end. And I've been interested in kind of circling back to this idea. Nissa plus Rottenmouth Viper. This is something we had in a Jund build a while ago. We did pretty reasonably well with it. We did pretty reasonably well with it. I believe that build was not playing Saga, and a big part of the idea here is Urza Saga's ability to get you Skateboard to haste your Rottenmouth Viper. In my first draft of this deck, I was a Badgermole Cub deck, and part of the idea was Badgermole Cub on Urza Saga would let you get extra Nissa triggers, and that was kind of real sometimes, although I was kind of not liking how bloated the deck felt with Green Sun. Maybe I could explain a little bit better. Like, I felt that with Green Sun Zenith, you did a pretty poor job enabling your Rottenmouth Viper on your early turns. And so if you're casting Green Sun Zenith, if that makes sense. The idea is Rottenmouth Viper is an elemental. So when you crack a fetch land, you will always put a Rottenmouth Viper into your hand with Nissa, which is a very powerful thing to do. Also, especially because when you've cracked a fetch land with Nissa in play, you are also just going to have a bunch of extra manas, which can help pay for your Rottenmouth Viper. Rottenmouth Viper is a very powerful card. And so I was trying a lot of different. Also, and then Nantuko is really cool in the show, where one, you can just play it early to enable your Viper, or you can sometimes bestow it onto your Rottenmouth Viper, especially with the extra mana from Nissa to go like really crazy over the top of your opponents. And so I've been working on this build for a while. Like I said, I was playing Green Sun Zenith, and I felt like if you're playing the Green Sun build, you're not doing a good job both slowing down the game enough with your removal spells, and you're also not enabling it super well. So I had a Dryad Arbor, and I also hated the Dryad Arbor, and Badgermole Cubs, and one Grist, and some extra sideboard cards. Didn't like the Green Suns so much. They were okay. I decided just to go to 4 Nissa. Nissa's been so good. Like, also, when you're playing 4 Nissa, you can just kind of feel really comfortable to play 1 on turn 3. And, like, if it dies, it dies. You just have 3 more in your deck. I kind of realized also that Nissa and Obsessive Pursuit play pretty well together. Where, your ability to, like, just have this extra mana to start drawing a bunch of cards is really nice. And then also, like, when you go Nissa, Rottenmouth Viper, and you don't have Skateboard, if you don't have Skateboard, but you do have Pursuit, when you sack all of your things to Viper, all of a sudden you can make your Nissa a gigantic life-linking creature, which tends to be pretty dang good, and will buy you some time to stabilize with the Viper. And then there's also some cool overlap with Obsessive Pursuit and Urza Saga. Like, you just get to flood the board with artifact tokens. So all of a sudden your Urza Sagas are not quite as embarrassing. Your ability to actually, like, you actually just, your Saga tokens become really big threats because you have Obsessive Pursuit in the deck, which I think is a pretty fun angle of attack. And I had Malevolent Rumble in the build for a while. Rumble was fine, but it's just too many 2-drops. And so I ended up kind of, I wanted to try Super Shredder instead. Super Shredder pretty good with the, like, Obsessive Pursuit stuff, and also just kind of good against, like, just opponents' decks will be triggering your own Super Shredders for you. And I wanted to get some extra 1-drops in the deck for interaction. Thought a little bit about playing Nethergoyfs in the build. I would be more interested in playing Nethergoyf if you could still play Rumble, but I don't think it really fits very well. So let's get in there. Maybe I should play 4 Vipers. I don't know. We'll see. My opponent says, yo, GLHF. This will be fun. They're on a multi 5, so hoping I can Thoughtseize them. What happened to Delian Fell? Yeah, I put that in the Go Live notification to mess with y'all. Oh, cool. Are they playing the Relic of Legends Humans deck? Bowmaster is, like, insane against that deck. I think I'm going to get Basic Swamp. Okay, the Lavinia does like nothing against me. Look at the Norn. Um, yeah, I'm teasing. I know we're playing Golgari Saga. I'm kind of burying the lead a little bit on like what the actual build is. I have not played Delian Fell. I have played against it like twice, and it hasn't looked that good. It is certainly possible I'm super wrong about the card. However, I still haven't actually played it. Pretty likely to super shred next turn and play the Mortuary so I can go Nissa plus fetch land, probably into Grist. They do not play around Bowmaster, which is nice. Sorin? They have a Jirina. Seeing Grib like Rockwest will play Deathcloud. Yeah, I know that there's always this strong urge by every every green black player's heart to play like the worst cards you've ever heard of in your entire life, but you don't have to. No one's making you. I think we'll graveyard that. So probably gonna take 4 damage this turn. Is this Humans in 2026? Yeah, they're playing a Brew of Hours that we did pretty well with last week and then did bad in the challenge. Oh, they have a Reki. It's like it's more of a Legends deck than it is a Humans deck. So they got no cards in their hand. We find a Springheart Nantuko, which is interesting. I think I'm gonna get a Skateboard so I can haste a. Also, it's weird that they didn't attack, but I'm gonna get a Skateboard so I can haste a copy of Viper if I find one. Norn with Shredder goes kind of hard. Is that something? It's not nothing. I do find just another Nissa. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the Bowmaster to my Grist to kill the Reki. Going to grow the Super Shredder to 5 power. Oh, but yeah, of course they're going to protect with the Jirina. And then I guess no point in attacking because they'll just double block. So yeah, we maybe get outgrinded by the Reki, especially because I sacked the Bowmaster. This was actually really... I don't know why I forgot about Jirina's ability. I built their deck and still I can't play against it. So they find a sword and they find a Guide of Souls. So they're back to top decking. I like that fetch lands are good top decks. We find a Nihil Spellbomb off the top. We mill a basic forest. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle my Spellbomb. We find a copy of Rottenmouth Viper, which we can't really play this turn. They don't have a card in my hand to Inquisition. How do we feel about attacking? I feel like I should be attacking. I think I'm somewhat likely to lose the Grist anyways if they can just chain 2 creatures together. Yeah. I mean, Nantuko and Bowmaster might have just been the move. Not impossible to beat, especially with like Sorin being able to kill Bowmaster, and like sometimes like this deck, you are just like you draw a card and you gain a life, and you draw a card and you gain a life, and it's not like Bowmaster's the end of the world. We might get something blasted with Sorin. It really obviously depends on what they draw. They did not extort with the Sorin, and they could have extorted with the Sorin, so it seems like off the Reki they drew another action spell. Although it's the extort on Sorin is kind of easy to miss. Looks like they found Arbaz. So yeah, they're going to be able to deal 4 damage with their Sorin. Am I dead? Because so the Sorin's going to come back. It's going to trigger the Arbaz. They've gained 1 off guide and then 3, 4. Because it'll be 5 damage off the Sorin. Okay, I'm not dead. Because they're attacking the Grist, but they would have been able to attack me for 4. It would have been. I think they could have put me to 2. Which is kind of crazy. Might kill the Nissa. Might just blast me. I kind of hope they kill the Nissa, honestly. Alright, so I got my Super Shredder up to 9-9. I think I probably just have to attack the Sorin and play Nissa. We're probably going to lose. I think we played this game not great. My Super Shredder is pretty big. Attack with Sorin might have been lethal. Oh yeah, so if they attack with Sorin, it's the same amount of... Yeah, I think attack with Sorin was lethal there. They would have been dealing me 8. Yeah, it was like super lethal. We are dead to another Sorin, like super dead. This Jurina? It is another Sorin. Wow. Cool. So yeah, definitely messed up into the face of the Arbaz. I do love their deck though. I'm happy to see somebody playing it. I'm going to bring in the Culling Rituals. I'm going to bring in the Shadowspear. I'm going to cut the Vexing Bauble. We'll leave in the Haywire Mite. I'm going to cut the Nihil Spellbomb. Probably be okay with just 3 tutor targets. I guess we play 4 Break the Ice, since it kills basically every single land in their deck. I don't know how I feel about the discard spells. It's only lethal if they had information on our hands. Well, it's lethal if they don't play around removal spell, and it's free for them to not play around a removal spell. I'm gonna trim 1 Thoughtseize, 1 Pursuit, 1 Nantuko. Wait, I thought I trimmed a Nissa. Guess I didn't. The Grist also seemed a little... Can play 1. I might play 4th Pursuit over 1st Grist. Like they're going to flip the sword and blast me. Like there's not any way for them to not attack with their flyer and then flip the sword in there. Having Super Shredder against the Nor and the Wary deck is pretty funny. We're gonna keep this and Surveil. Probably gonna single them next turn. I think Grist would have been really good if you just uptick the first turn. I don't know. I mean, did they have Guide of Souls that turn, or did they find it next turn? Alright, there's an Aether Vial, which we can maybe sweep up with Culling Ritual later. Definitely going to keep that. We might end up going more in on Nantuko, Springheart, but I think this turn will just Stone Rain them. So we can go Nantuko this next turn, and we could play Viper the following turn, and then possibly Ritual the turn after. We might also be able to go Culling Ritual into Viper. I guess we can just do that instead of sacrificing as part of the cost. We can just kill our own guys and make mana off of it. So right now we'll have 6 mana even if they put nothing into play here. What do you think happened in the meta to make that Bowmaster became better than pre-BNR? I mean, just because I'm playing Bowmaster now doesn't necessarily mean it's much better than it was pre-BNR. Bowmasters has been kind of fringe playable, and in this deck it's an important enabler for Rottenmouth Viper while also being like a reasonable threat outside of that. So I wouldn't say that Bowmaster is like all of a sudden like much better. I would say that it's just kind of a tool we have to be playing in this deck. Pretty cool turn. I think I would have played Shredder before Stone Raining them because of Clock Disruption. I feel like the way this game plays out, I think it's hard to argue that was like possibly correct compared to this, right? Okay, we're gonna go to game 3. Might be interested in one less Thoughtseize on the draw. I might want to play a Fade from History. Probably not. Yeah, no way. Alright, let's just run it back. I think I want to keep it in the 1 mana interaction. Could a Bowmaster sack token there? Could a Bowmaster sack the token? Oh, so play Bowmaster first. I mean, I don't think it matters too much. Having push and Bowmaster and Haywire Mite, this hand is really good. Basim seems like it'd be an opponent's list. Yeah, we built their deck, and we have 4 Basims. You can find the Moxfield on the YouTube too. I guess let me get the calculator out. So 60 cards in the deck. Number of cards to look at is going to be, let's say no surveil is 2. We have 22 lands. We want to draw 1. We're 60%. If we surveil instead, we're 75. This hand is so good. Although we kind of need to draw 2 lands. I think I'm gonna mulligan. Okay, let's keep this. I'm gonna go ahead and put back the Break the Ice because we don't have double black. I'm sure you consider cards like Bauble, Wither and Charm. Did you find they were bad or Titan Space? I guess closer to Titan Space. Like, this is not a super normal Golgari Rock deck, right? Where we're really focused in on the Nissa Obsessive Pursuit synergies. So like other like kind of filler level non-mandatory cards like that become harder to include. Okay, so we have to take the Satoro. It's too good with the Nor and the Wary. Although they do have Basim as a good card advantage tool. So they play the Basim. We're almost definitely going to play Obsessive Pursuit. Kind of sad to draw a non-fetch land here. So like if we go Nissa next turn and we can find a fetch land, we can go really, really crazy with Skateboard. My opponent is going to be drawing an extra card every turn. I think I'm likely playing Nissa anyways, because I just want to be putting the like lifelink counters on it. They're also going to be flying stuff with Guide Norin. They have a second Norin in their hand still, right? Yeah. And then 1 mystery card. Find a copy of Break the Ice, which you may overload at some point this game. It's not a very good top deck, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and play the Nissa this turn, which does trigger their Guide of Souls. They find Satoro, which is really, really powerful draw with the Nora, and it's going to be drawing them 2 cards a turn. Michigan Blue, the 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. They play a copy of Plaza of Heroes. If I draw a fetch land, I may just overload Break the Ice and then put my Obsessive Pursuit counters here. Oh, I guess I'd be 1 sacrifice short, huh? I mean, I guess we could also just draw a Viper. So fetch land into Viper or... Okay, perfect, or not perfect for sure. I do think I'm going to be trying to maybe I don't think I want to get the Shadowspear. Maybe I get Haywire Mite? No, I'll get the I'm just getting Shadowspear. Do I play Nantuko first? Seems correct to play Nantuko first. Which means I'm not overloading Break the Ice. But I don't think I can really afford to do that anyways. I do know that Mite gains life. Shadowspear Skateboard. The thing is, my Pursuit is going to give me life gain this turn, no matter, even if I miss on the Viper here. We're favored to hit the Viper. We cited out Nissa. Fingers crossed. Damn it. Bowmasters is interesting. So I get to gain 3 life off of the Nissa attack up to 7. My opponent is going to be able to kill me through that. I'll get the Shadowspear Skateboard. Yeah, sorry, I meant to get the Skateboard because of the Viper, because I have life gain off the Pursuit anyways. So when I play Bowmaster, the Norn is going to come back and trigger the Satoro. But I won't be able to kill anything with it this turn. You gain 6. So I could gain 7 if I equip Skateboard, or I could gain 6 on the attack. This puts me to 10. This puts me to 10, and this is going to be unblockable. This is going to be unblockable, and they will be able to fly again to attack me for 11, right? And I'm also losing another life of my upkeep. I can kill Norn with Bowmaster. Killing Norn with Bowmaster doesn't matter much. They have another Norn in their hand. I think I just lose. Tough game. I do think I'm supposed to kill the Norn. Bestow for the 1 extra life, save you. It wouldn't save me because of the life I lose to the pursuit. But yeah, Bestow. I do think Bestow would have been a bit better. Not a very well first match. Right, Viper, we're gaining infinite life, more or less. I count. I'm 11 unblockable with any legend. Yeah, and we know they have a legend too. All right, 0-1. Cool to see the humans deck being played. I do think the deck's pretty good. Don't have a lot of problems with it. Mac with the 5-pack. Thank you so much. I've got to get this stuff from Mac. Make sure to thank him. Achievement unlocked, destroy Nor in the Wary. We blocked with the Nor in the Wary last week, which is pretty fun. Maybe we do need to go down on the Nissas. I had like the Green Sun version before, and I went up on the Nissas, but I wasn't like really bricking on them. But maybe we are just gonna brick on them too often. Could maybe go down a Nissa for a Super Shredder. Could go down a Nissa, up a Viper. Could go down 2 Nissa, up 1 Viper, up 1 Shredder. Let's do that. I think I said that out loud, and I don't think I like that. I wonder if white is good enough if you're using it to pair with Bloodghast. I just hate casting Bloodghast. I'm fine playing Bloodghast if you have lots of ways to discard it. I'm pretty uninterested in playing it otherwise. So it looks like we're up against the Ponza build. Only have 3 basics. Lucky here might be blue-white control. I have a blue-white flow state deck. That's the backup deck today for whatever that's worth. Okay, can't do anything with the draw step mana. I guess I get my basic swamp, and I think I've got 2 sagas. I think I should probably just play the saga and get the pursuit down there. If I am able to make even a single saga token, it becomes a pretty big threat. Oh, but they have March. Brutal. I keep thinking about Tyvar with Badger and White, not sure what else to do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I do think that White could fit in. We had a Golgari or a Borid Badger Mole deck that we trophied with before we found the Eldrazi version. High Noon. So we do have a Haywire Mite we could maybe get against the High Noon. We have all Urza Sagas here. Yeah, I've been wanting to play the iTwitch Reanimator deck again. I really don't think iTwitch fits in any deck besides Reanimator and Soul Trader. With like, or you'd have to be something along those lines. I was kind of looking at the old like Satoro Bloodghast. Speaking of Bloodghast, the old Satoro Bloodghast deck, and not really liking it too much. When we looked bad yesterday, I know that's why I'm supported my boy here. Well, this is about as brutal a start as it gets in Magic the Gathering. I don't know. I mean, they definitely choked really hard in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. And then the first half was insane, just so swingy. Guess I shouldn't have floated both colors. iTwitch just felt really good in Sam combo. I think Sam combo is one that it makes sense in. You have a lot of stack outlets for it. Can we win this matchup? And so the Stone Rains begin. And they've got a quarry mounted monastery. I guess I'm going to play this Urza Saga. I dream of whiting for Colony Garden and then dying to Slickshot show off the next turn. That is kind of the experience. Okay. Interesting. I'm pretty interested in bestowing Nantuko onto Construct next turn. It's interesting they don't main phase the Quarry Mounted Monastery activation if they have nothing. Maybe they have a Solitude. Solitude would make some sense. They flip over a Solitude, which they can play until the end of their next turn. Well, I guess if they just have a land, they can Solitude this. They do have the land. I think this matchup is literally unwinnable. The more I'm thinking about it, it's like the Solitudes and the Erodes are just like there's like being in on the Viper plan against them is just so crazy. I don't know. I mean maybe like we have stuff like Grist to be really good against them, but I think I'm just moving on instead of playing against Ponza for another 30 minutes. Okay, on the play. Gonna mulligan the one lander. Another one lander. Could keep Bowmaster over Super Shredder. I think I'm gonna be inclined to keep the Super Shredder instead, since we have another enabler for the Viper stuff. My opponent goes Flooded Strand go. Opponent having a good think on my on their instep here. That's probably good enough to keep. They are likely playing Blinker Boros. Alright, got the extra counter on the Super Shredder. If they have a discharge, I guess it's just one less energy for them, though. They've got a Thraben Charm. Very rough series of events for us today. I think I'm going to play out my Nantuko here. Tough matchup to Multi 5 in. At least this doesn't die to Flage. Nantuko, White, Grazer is a nice trio. Don't think I usually play Grazer in those decks. Certainly feeling pretty defeated this game. All right. Down a game against Boros. I'm going to bring in the Shadowspear over the Vexing Bauble. I'm going to bring in both copies of Culling Ritual. I think I'm going down to Thoughtseizes. I like to keep in the Haywire Mite as my answer to Bombardment, and then it's kind of nice to have Nihil Spellbomb as a cycler. It does also hit Seasoned Pyromancer, but maybe it would just be better off playing another Thoughtseize. Any Delirium updates with Witherbloom command? With Witherbloom command? I guess I don't even know what, like, when you say delirium updates, like, are you talking about the Flytrap deck? Maybe I'll take the hand hider off. They're just being so like they're like I click the fetch, they click OK, and then they pause on my surveil. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna keep it down. So we could take Thraben Charm because it answers my pursuits. We could take Discharge because it answers the Shredder. We could take Wrath because it's a nightmare to play around, or we could take Fable because they have a hand that is very interactive. I think that makes sense to just take the advantage spell, leave them with all interaction, try to maneuver around it. I think we just play Pursuit, and if they Thraben Charm it next turn, we get a clue token. I always take Wrath, I think. I mean, I think if you just see Wrath and snap take it off every time it's there, that's there's no I always take this card when you cast Thoughtseize. And I think it just makes sense to leave their hand with like all interactive cards and try to maneuver through them. Yes, Flytrap Delirium. I wouldn't play Witherbloom Command in Flytrap Delirium. That's like a really like slow, grindy card in what is ostensibly an aggro deck. So they are not killing my pursuit. So we're really likely going to be like just sacking some tokens here against the all interaction hand. We know they have Thraben Charm and Wrath the Sky, so not going to play the Saga here. I will keep the fetch land for Super Shredder slash Nissa. See if they kill the pursuit here, and we get kind of a 3-for-1. Okay. They tap out for Ranger Captain, which means I get to go Nissa fetch land here. And then I think I'm also pretty likely to play the Super Shredder, since they can't kill either. I guess they could kill the Super Shredder with Wrath, but they can't kill both with the Discharge. Guess we get a basic forest to play around Blood Moon. We do find a Viper. Is playing Skateboard big mistake? Seems like it. Or does it bait Wrath the Skies? I could maybe play just Skateboard and sack the clue token. It's a little weird. I could play Skateboard equipped to Nissa, get in for 4 damage. If I play Skateboard and Super Shredder, my opponent is gonna very likely Wrath the Skies, X equals 2 this turn, killing my clue token, my Super Shredder, my Skateboard. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'll just play the Shredder and pass. Let me know what you're doing. Not the easiest line, I think. Skateboard equip, get in, hope they Wrath. They're never gonna cast Wrath the Skies this turn if all they're getting is a Skateboard and a clue token. They're gonna cast Galvanic Discharge and Guide of Souls for sure. I could hope I could talk you into trying a Mite Form Harmonizer here. It's 20 plus Skateboard plus Fetchland. Mite Form Harmonizer? Oh, this card. Okay, so if you play this and you go... I mean, I really don't like that this doesn't have trample. But it does double to 10, then double to 20. No trample is really, really rough on a card like this. The warp is interesting with the Skateboard. You can target Super Shredder and stuff too. I mean, I think it's interesting. We just cast a Viper here. It's interesting they didn't play the Guide of Souls. This is probably because they want to sandbag it for the Wrath of Skies. I think it makes some sense. So they sack the Ranger Captain, which doesn't make that much sense since they like are they going to be able to Wrath X equals 6? I guess if they have Galvanic Discharge, which they used the one we know about. That would be really gross if they could Wrath X equals 6 here. And if they just go Wrath X equals 2 and kill my Shredder and my Saga, it's like... Yeah, they would have needed discharge that turn plus land, and they didn't have to discharge. Doesn't seem very possible. Is there versions that has Emperor and maybe more ways to reanimate a Viper and Nissa to find Viper? I don't think you could be very in on the reanimation plan in Golgari because you don't have enough discard outlets, but there's like we have a mono black Viper Super Shredder or a mono black Viper deck that's playing Asmo and is in on that version. Let's see. So they discard the last card in their hand, and then they chump block with Guide of Souls, and then they just die to me playing the second Viper. Oh, I guess sorry. No, they take 4 damage and they chump block with Guide, and then they're at 6, so they don't actually die. So I guess we play Grist this turn. Zach with the 6 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Skateboard. Yes. Skateboard would have been lethal, so since we could have sacked the Skateboard to the Viper. I think we can't really lose this game anyways, but yeah, we should have. Overlord Rumble could help. I mean, yeah, you could play Overlord Rumble and Emperor. I do think Emperor Viper is kind of interesting. But also, if you're playing all of those enablers, you're not playing the enablers, so just cast Viper, which is almost always the best way to play the card. Okay, going to game 3 on the draw. So someone saying, recently moved in from remote to in-person work and haven't caught your past few weeks of streams. What decks have in the past 3 weeks have been the best or most exciting? I mean, Slumbering Trudge is still like kind of my number one brew as of late. I liked the Relic of Humans deck a lot. We'd had a series of several top 8s in a row. I guess 2 of them were with Trudge. 1 of them was with a Professor, Cauldron combo. I guess we could go to the Goldfish and see. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Trophied with Rakdos Shadow, trophied with Wizards. Oh yeah, the Ruby control deck has been really cool. Although finding the best version has been weird. It kind of has felt like I spent a long time trying to find the best version, and the best version was kind of just the one we started with. So to get the Pursuit down to try to fuel a Viper. I guess I'm not loving not being able to use the Fatal Push on the first 2 turns here. Not loving the possibility of Blood Moon and a Johnny this turn. I think I have to tap out for a 2-drop. Thankfully, they just play a Fable. The Nantuko is probably going to be something that we need to save for Rottenmouth Viper. I guess we could cast Viper this turn at the cost of losing our Pursuit. I think I'm just going to play it a little bit more patient than that. Yeah, so I mean, I think we're just going to go push this turn, Viper plus push next turn. Not being able to have a creature to like get the life gain onto might be a big problem against the bombardment, we'll see. Discard 2 lands. Viper's not really gaining life ever, so don't mind losing Pursuit. I guess I disagree, because the second Viper... we have 2 Vipers, and so like having... I think that we may end up either Nantukoing into our first Viper or playing the second, and I think the life gain will happen then, and I think it'll be pretty real. Okay, so we get punished for not holding up the push. They're gonna be flipping the Ajani here. Down to 13. Culling Ritual will be really good. I draw Skateboard. So in order to... I do have to sack the Pursuit. I do have to sack the Pursuit in order to get in with the Viper this turn. Probably going to have to be the play. So they're just going to sack the Ajani when I attack it. I do think I need to attack it. Otherwise, I'm taking 2, then 3, then 3 more. So 8 damage, dead to literally any creature if I don't. Let's attack the Ajani. They discard a Wrath, and they discard a Sacred Foundry instead of taking the damage. So we're in a spot where a land would let me go bestow Nantuko onto Viper, play land, copy Viper, and if it's a black source, I could also Fatal Push. And they've got a Static Prison. Yeah. And we top deck Culling Ritual, which is insanely good here. They are going to sack their cat token, and that denies me a mana. I lose my skateboard, so I can't re-equip. Finally, a good top deck. I feel like our draws have been so painful today. I always feel so bad when I spend like a week working on a deck, and then I bring it to stream, and everything goes wrong. So we get 3 mana here. So this is enough to Fatal Push the Reflection and bestow Nantuko onto the Viper. Got Revolt from our Skateboard dying. They've got 1 card in their hand. I really like Viper. The card is so fun to play with. Okay, won the match. Very close one. Gonna keep this on the draw. I do think the Rakdos Affinity build's really underplayed. I kind of almost give up on playing it though, because it's like I don't feel like I'm going to be able to convince too many Affinity gamers to play it at this point. Like either you like it or you don't, and I do like it a lot. But it's like I'm also not going to spend just so much time grinding one deck over and over again. Second copy of Thoughtseize. Well, it's nice of my opponent to crack these baubles so I can see their whole hand. They're playing an Arayo build. They have a basic mountain in their Arayo build, which maybe is not such a wise thing to have. I think I'm going to take the Tamiyo, since the Bowmaster lines up really well against the Arayo, unless they draw a blue source right now and go off. They would need to draw a 0 also off the Preordain. We could Thoughtseize the Arayo now. Doesn't seem like that makes the main upside to that would be the main upside that seems like it would be our ability to tap out for a 3-drop next turn. But I think I just like it feels weird to Thoughtseize the Arayo when I have Bowmaster in my hand. Very surprising to keep my opponent. Well, they had 2 of their cards were baubles. What are they cooking? It looks like they're playing a build that we played, although I don't think I was playing Basic Mountain. So we have both of our Nissas in our hands, so we're guaranteed to find Viper off of it. Don't think I want to trade Bowmaster for token. I think if I'm going to jump with anything, it's the Orc, because it might replace itself. I think having 2 baubles and riding the back of 2 Sagas might be better than Mulligan. Yeah, like if their hand is like I don't know which of the cards they had, but if they were like a blue source away from a good keep and they had 2 baubles, it's not the worst. What changed my mind about this deck archetype? I've always had the same opinion, is that Golgari Saga is like an interesting archetype, but the top end sucks. Like your proactive game plan is really bad. Tarmogoyf is really bad in this archetype. The Overlord stuff is not so good. The Cauldron Grist stuff is not so good. I'm a hater of Delian Fell still, although I would love to be wrong about Delian Fell. I teasingly put that in the Go Live notification. But what I like about this plan is that I think Nissa Viper does give you a good top end that goes over the top of most decks. Gives you a powerful card advantage engine. And playing Obsessive Pursuit also makes your Urza Sagas a lot better, because you're putting a lot more artifacts into play, so your constructs are real threats with those. And so I feel like this plan solves a lot of the grievances I have with Golgari Saga as an archetype. And so, you know, my overall opinion on the archetype hasn't really changed, but um it's more so I think building the deck in this way is a way to solve those issues. So they have a bolt for the Bowmaster, so now they can flip the Arayo. Very timely bolt. I have a Haywire Mite I can get off Urza Saga. Is there a viable Life from the Loam deck in Modern these days? We had a site. What happened to my Seismic Assault deck? Did that die with the One Ring, or did we find a version of it post One Ring? I think it might have died with the One Ring. As far as okay, there's also Phoenix Dredge. That's another brew we've been working on. Although it's kind of like just out of the modern metagame now, kind of graduated. Um, oh right, I forgot that with Monument we were trying it some. We could honestly try this deck again. This could be a fun circle back. This is definitely a deck that was pretty weak when Flage was around. Don't know if I love the Street Wraiths here. I don't know if they're that important for the Monuments. They boomerang basics my Grist. Wow. Well, I guess I'm just gonna take 4. So I can Haywire Mite the Arayo next turn potentially. I may not need to. I think this turn I'm gonna just Thoughtseize into the Arayo and play a Grist and kill the Construct. Why not Seismic? Why not Swan Seismic? I don't know. It's not 2016. I don't so like Seismic Assault is kind of hard enough but already, and then having to like resolve a 4-mana creature in addition is really rough. Like I think I really liked Monument plus Seismic Assault. It just kind of gives you redundancy to the effect. I thought it was pretty good. Like I think Monument's way better. Monument does so much damage so fast. And has card advantage and it ramps. It just does everything. Why do I look at this deck and I feel like it's missing something obvious though? I don't know what it is that it's missing. No, I drew the Haywire Mite. Fuck, dude. I guess this makes up for the Ice Still? Oh yeah, maybe Ice Still. That is new. So I think I get the Vexing Bauble to counter the Imri. Maybe maybe Nihil Spellbomb is better for the cycle. Oh, we milled a Grist. Okay. You win some, you lose some, I guess. For the Seismic Vaults, what if there were Valakites in Splendid Reclamation? I have tried that build. I think it's worse. I still over Nissa in this deck? I don't think so. I think this is really, really good. I'll say this is like one of the most slandered cards I've ever played with. It's like I'd say almost I genuinely don't know why the modern community doesn't like Nissa very much. I do not understand. This card it makes you 2 mana and draws you a powerful spell every single turn. It's like the first copy at least is so often so good in like every single Omnath, every deck, and it's just like I remember testing the card for PT Barcelona, and we were working on the 4-color Omnath deck, and every single person wanted to play 4 Fable 0 Nissa in these builds, and I was just like, and like I remember me and Nassif were like, why does everybody hate Nissa? And Nissa was testing so well for us, and still everyone hated it. It was so weird. I just still never have understood. Still have never understood. Okay. So my Grist is gonna die, I guess. Unless I... Maybe I need to kill this Corey Steelcutter. Exile the Corey Steelcutter. I think I have to play through this Nissa. Or sorry, through the Urayo. I feel like I need to like kill this Imri. I don't think I can beat the Imri. And then like just chump block the construct. If I draw a land, I can play Nissa in the Inquisition. Okay. Is there a chance the game capture for the stream is a bit wrong? It looks... Well, it does look a little off. You're getting all the... You're getting all the action here, though. You're just missing, like, this wheel here. Should be fine. Drawing that Haywire Mite was so funny. Okay, big draw step for me. Very funny they chose not to attack. So do I have enough mana to Nissa into the Urayo and play Viper? I should. Should kind of easily, even. Do I have enough mana to do that and also get the more? I think I'll just keep another token instead of surveilling. So I need to sack 2 tokens. They don't have Rebuke up. Although, you know, Rebuke is a little bit weird in their deck. It's like Tomio and Steelcutter are good to give you improvisers, but that is kind of it. That is kind of it. Okay, they choose to take 4. Their construct is a 3/3. It's going to become a 4/4 when they attack with Tomio. I may need to cash in the Grist to stop them from like trading it for the Viper, depending on how big it gets. This grows the construct to 4/4. Tomio to 5/5. They could double block with the Monk token, maybe. They also could flip the Tomio by sacking the Lantern and sacking the Clue this turn. Not that I think a Tomio flip does that much. They do have a Boomerang basics in the graveyard that they could try to buy back. I guess that would be pretty good. So maybe I would end up killing the... Oh, the Urayo can put the Grist to 1, of course. So I'm not going to be able to minus the Grist next turn. This does look like a Clue token sacrifice. Then they play another copy of Mox Amber. It's kind of interesting timing with only 1 card in their hand. They have Boomerang? But no, then they sack the Lantern. So what do they want to do with this other mana, I wonder? They play a Spirebluff Canal. And they pass. I feel like they maybe just messed up with that. I draw another Viper. I can't play it this turn because of Urayo. Let's plus my Grist. And I'm going to send... Do I send both at Tomio? I might send both at them. So if I send this will put them down to 5. They'd have to sack something. I think I send both at Tomio. This is going to get the construct and it's going to get the monk off the field. Oh, shoot, sorry. It's not going to... They're going to get to eat the Nissa with the construct. It's actually pretty bad. They just lose 8 life. So I imagine they're going to Boomerang basics the Viper this turn and send both in at the Grist. They send both in at Grist. They do their Tamio does die to my remaining insect token, which is I guess a little weird for them. Camera will be so good here. Well, so camera's very good in this deck when you have a Viper in play. It ends up being pretty win more. I do like that it can copy fetch land triggers. I also don't really like to play 5 Saga targets. You could cut the main deck Haywire Mite for it if you wanted. Oh, they drew Boomerang Basics for turn. Okay, that's probably going to be game. I guess if I draw another 1-drop, I could get a Viper down. I don't know if it's going to be enough to race the Tamio ultimate, though. They'd have like a lot of little things to sacrifice. I did draw a 1-drop. Very weird game. So I imagine they sack a Mox in here. Yeah, sack the Mox Opal. Shrinks their constructed 2/2. They do have enough life that they could take 4 damage on one of the triggers. Isn't it good with Saga too, though? I don't know. Camera's okay with Saga. It's okay with fetch lands. It's okay with Grist. It's great with Viper. I agree. You could play one as a Saga tutor target. I don't think. All right, I think them just naturally drawing 2 Boomerang Basics was pretty unbeatable here. But yeah, I mean, I agree. You can play those. So let's go ahead and max out on Vexing Baubles. Let's play Culling Rituals. I don't know if I want both Fade from Histories necessarily. I'm going to kill some of my own stuff. Might be okay. The Rituals also kind of kill all the same stuff, I guess. I got the Nihil Spellbomb. I'm going to keep in the Haywire Mite. Always have to keep in the Skateboard. The Bowmasters seem good. Super Shredder seems okay. I think I'll trim a Super Shredder. I think I'm going to go down a couple of discard spells. Seems like we get top decking really, really fast. This is probably fine. Wanted to put together an Asmo list again. That's last one I remember had Nature's Rhythm Persist. Doubt that's the best. No, Asmo's probably not great. Wondering what's the best. We had success with a Moonshadow Rakdos build you could find. I don't think it's the best Rakdos build, but it was the best performing Asmo deck we had recently. I do also like I liked the mono black Rottenmouth Viper Asmo deck. I've been kind of wanting to test it again. That build just does have problems where at least I don't think you can play the Moonshadow build. I had a Moonshadow build that was playing Wraith, and I think just playing Wraith and Bauble and Oval Chase Daredevil, it's just too much air in the deck. His hand may look a little weird, but it's actually like kind of close to the nut draw where we get to go turn 1 Vexing Bauble, turn 2 Saga Nantuko, turn 3 Saga Nissa make a token. Then we get to go turn 4 crack fetch for Viper. Hopefully we're 80% to hit a Viper, and then attack with Skateboard. You got a Tamio. Might hold a Saga for a turn, hold the Saga for 2 turns, might still play it turn 3. I guess I would want to play it turn 3 if I felt like I really needed to get like a Haywire Mite off of it. Appears mono blue Merfolk players have finally cut Sylvoon. That card hasn't been good for a while. What are they playing then? If Sylvoon is the best Merfolk payoff in Modern, I agree she's not that good, but it's like she's also the best one that there is. Like literally, what are they? Like what is in the deck at this point? Would Cub not be great here with Nantuko stuff? I had it in my first draft, and I just didn't like the Green Sun Cub stuff as much as the Obsessive Pursuit and like more interaction. But yeah, I had the thought, we're a Nantuko deck already. We just obviously want to play Cub. But I felt like I was just like spending 6 mana on Viper a bit too often. Yeah, like Merfolk players always have like they have this like big brain. They're like, I'm just not gonna play any Merfolk in my deck. Island Walk Lords and Harbinger of the Seas, aggro plus Flare of Denial. You know, Flare of Denial is not too good on your aggro plan. I'm a big hater of the Island Walk Lords. Like every time I play them, I really regret. I've really regretted having them. Like, was there like a 5-0 list or something? Did Nikuchu make a video? What if you don't play Zenith? Cub is a lot worse if you don't play Zenith. Like a huge strength of Cub is being able to assemble multiple Cubs in the same game. Um, and like when your first copy of Cub dies, your second Cub is able to come down and give you value from the first Cub's trigger. Does that make sense? And when you don't have that value, it's like a lot less interesting to me. Okay, so I have a mana floating. I can go Super Shredder, and then I can go fetch, make 2 tokens. Yeah, then I could sack 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I could sack my whole board if I'm getting the Shredder triggers. We're 80% to hit a Viper here. Yeah, you can't sack the Earthbent guys because Viper is non-land. Okay, so I'm gonna sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry. That is. I had more mana than I thought I did. Sorry, I could have left my Nissa and my Nantuko in play. I think I just totally didn't count the Nissa mana here. It should be really okay. Unless they have boomerang basics, I guess. Sometimes it's hard to split my attention. They discard a Mox Amber. The Super Shredder is also pretty deadly. Then they discard another Mox Amber. Takes 7. We've got 2 lethal attackers. We've got 3 Rottenmouth triggers coming in next turn. We still have the Vexing Bauble in play. They make another construct. Maybe we should sack Vexing Bauble end of turn. We'll see what the board looks like, I guess. I guess right now they're trading a Viper for a construct for a Viper, and then they are double chumping the Super Shredder. Yeah, it does seem like I want to. Wait, they attack? I guess they don't. I guess they can attack. I'm gonna need to sack the Vexing Bauble or get another Super Shredder trigger. So I guess I need 2 more triggers. I need 2 more triggers. Although they I guess my Viper is gonna trigger the Super Shredder, right? Because they can discard 2 cards. I guess they could discard 2 cards and go to 1 to not grow the Super Shredder. Otherwise, they grow the Super Shredder. I think either way, we're sacking the Vexing Bauble. We find a copy of Grist. Doesn't seem like it does a lot here. Then I find a copy of Obsessive Pursuit, which does grow the Super Shredder big enough to survive the double block. Maybe they have Force of Negation blue card, although that at that point then they'd grow the Super Shredder anyways, so it wouldn't make any change. 4 mana Investigate. Kind of all we needed here. So seems like a lot of affinity now. There's definitely some affinity. So yeah, we'll put a counter on the Viper also to for sure kill the construct. I guess the construct is gonna die anyways. Shouldn't really matter much either way. Boros is back to being. Someone said yesterday it was 16% on Goldfish. Like it's still like a 4% hit from the Flage ban. Opponent's deck's also not affinity. It's, you know, it is a different deck than the Pinnacle Emissary Weapons deck, but it is also a Mox Opal, Mox Amber, play a bunch of cheap spells at the same time. I feel like it's okay. And they sacrificed 2 artifacts, so actually now I get to keep both of my creatures. It's pretty the same. Oh, I guess I don't know how I missed that they could just double block the Super Shredder. Hear me out, Weapons of Viper. We have played a lot of that deck. We played it recently. We 4-1 with it. And yet I'm still unable to convince my buddy Boros is still a great deck in Modern. Yeah, I mean this is the reality of, you know, talking about Magic with people, talking about Modern with people. Like something big happens, like a Flage ban, people form an opinion, and that opinion is just their opinion. It's just so rare to have somebody be like, oh yeah, you know, I was wrong. Just like I'll never say I'm wrong about Delian Fell. 60% is not so bad though. So listen, I'm not here to complain too much about the format. Saying 16% is as the top deck of Modern is not so bad. I feel like it's so different from like my perception of things. Like in my perception, 10% or above the most of one deck being the most popular deck in Modern is a really problematic play rate. In my ideal world, you would like never see more than a deck be more than 10% of the field. Especially not one for over 2 years at this point. I think that like people don't know percentages super well for like what percentage like decks see play and formats and stuff, but like over like 10% is huge. Like that's so much. That is historically like a pretty problematic play rate, I think, for Modern at least. Like in Standard you have less decks. And so you're going to see decks occupy a bigger percentage point. Even in Standard, your top deck being 16% is not ideal, you know? It's not ideal. And in Modern especially, 16% is really quite bad. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Like it's 16% now. Boros was 20% for a while, and in Modern's entire history, we looked at it, there's been like 4 or 5 decks ever that have been 20%, you know, and it's 16% now. Shouldn't a win rate be problematic? Shouldn't a win rate be problematic than play rate? Both are problematic. I certainly don't think that one excludes the other. Boros's win rate is also quite high, but it's like I believe that play rate is a problematic thing, and it's a somewhat separate conversation from win rate. It's like these are like 2 different things that affect your game in different ways. They're definitely really correlated, but they both can be a problem. No enabler for the Viper is kind of tough. I think I'm gonna mulligan. Pretty borderline hand though. Okay, I'll try this one. It's only 16% on the 7-day sample size, which is not exactly the biggest sample. It's not the biggest sample, but we're in like a post big shakeup world. So it's like it's really relevant that Boros dropped a lot and then immediately shot way back up. And like that's all the data we have right now, right? Yeah, it looks like maybe the Vexing Bauble will be good. Okay. Probably going to get basic forest here. Okay, now I'm going to play the Urza Saga. Although, maybe the Saga was wrong since we've got the Nantuko. Although I think I'm also okay just making a construct next turn a lot of the time. Getting a Haywire Mite does seem like it could be pretty important. So I lose my Super Shredder. Might need to top deck a Culling Ritual to get out of this. If you do a 14-day sample size, it's 10. Affinity is 9.3, and 4 decks at 6% seems pretty good to me. Well, I do feel like doing the 14 sample size is maybe generally kind of a good thing, and currently not that good of a like way to look at it, because we don't have a super big picture of Modern right now because we're what 4 weeks post BNR, and so like I think you want to be looking at the shorter term trends right now than looking at the longer term implications. Titan also seems like it's on the uptick too. I know Canister's playing in the challenge today. I don't know how that's going. I saw that his title today was Titan, not such a bad deck maybe. So they get a Haywire Mite, but they don't have green mana. They have another burn spell. Oh, another bolt is tough. I guess we'll see if we top deck Culling Ritual again. I'd imagine the Pro Tour will shake some stuff up. Maybe that scope. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how the Pro Tour shakes things up. Let's pivot to the backup deck, I guess. Kind of sad. I worked on this one for so long. Okay, backup deck I've also been working on. This one is blue-white flow state control.